Week 1 NFL Power Rankings. Let's get into it. All right, now that every team has played at least a game and every fan is feeling a little something, happy, disappointed, excited, angry, hopeful, heartbroken, shocked, speechless. All those feelings are all fine and well, but what that means is football is back. Let's go. Number 32, Carolina Panthers. So the Carolina Panthers rolled out their rookie QB to start the season on Sunday. And boy, did he have a tough NFL debut. As to be expected from a rookie QB, he was picked off twice. But what probably was his biggest mistake was the 99-yard would-be touchdown to fellow rookie Jonathan Mingo that he missed. He overthrew him. Stat sheets won't show you that he did that, but he did. I ain't mad at him though. I mean, he's a rookie. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably going to be a very long season for the Carolina Panthers. Which I find interesting because I saw a lot of experts out there taking the Panthers to win the NFC South. I don't know. Number 31, Arizona Cardinals. So Josh Dobbs gets named the starting quarterback for the Cardinals before the season starts. And it went just like you thought it would. However, the Cardinals defense showed up on Sunday. And they balled out. They played with great energy. They had 6 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception. It was like they were playing against Josh Allen. See how I can make jokes? So the Cardinals had a 13-10 lead at halftime, right? And that lone touchdown came on the defensive side of the ball when a fumble was scooped up and taken to the house. I mean, that defense kept them in the game. But ultimately, Josh Dobbs and that offense lost them the game. Shocker. Number 30, Tennessee Titans. So an excellent defensive performance by the Tennessee Titans was absolutely wasted due to the fact that head coach Mike Vrabel still has faith in this dude named Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill threw 34 passes and completed only 16 of them. Yes, that's less than 50%. And you know what else he did? He threw 3 picks. 1, 2, 3. What is he, Josh Allen? See how I joke? Tannehill was so inconsistent, even in moments that should have broke open the game. Wide open targets, downfield, he missed. These could have been game-changing plays, and they probably could have won the game, and the defense wouldn't want to strangle him. His performance was unsatisfactory. Remember that in school when you used to get a U for unsatisfactory? Yeah, I never got one of those. Number 29, Pittsburgh Steelers. 5 drives to start the game for the Steelers on Sunday. 5 3-and-outs. Those 5 drives yielded -9 yards. Can't do that against the Niners. Or maybe that was the Niners doing it to them. I understand the Niners have that solid defense, right? Probably the best in the league. I get it. But not a single first down in the first 5 drives of the game. This is the NFL. You guys are professional athletes. You get paid lots of money. Pick up a first down. So during the preseason, everybody was praising this offense, right? Kenny Pickett looked good. But on Sunday, Kenny Pickett didn't look so good. Dude had an awful game. Awful game. He missed his receivers behind him, above them, below them, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the right. And if this loss wasn't bad enough, they lost Cameron Haywood and Deontay Johnson to injuries. Oh, that just sucks for Pittsburgh. Number 28, the Denver Broncos. This fucking hat. So Sean Payton arrives in Denver, and he's here to correct Russell Wilson and correct that Denver Broncos offense. Or so we were told. And you know what? In the first half of this game, it kind of looked like that was true because Russell Wilson was out there cooking. At halftime, he only had 2 incompletions, and one of them was a spike to stop the clock. But then the second half came around, and it was a completely different story. That Broncos offense suddenly looked like Nathaniel Hackett days. The Broncos were only able to score 3 points in the second half, give up the lead to the Raiders, and place kicker Will Lutz, who was brought over from the Saints by Sean Payton, missed both a field goal and an extra point. That's 4 points. They lost by a point. You do the math there. I think the Broncos should have won this game. Number 27, Houston Texans. I will say this all season long. I honestly don't know why I did that. I cannot stand when people clap shit out. But I will. I'll say it all season long. I don't think the Texans are as bad as everyone thinks they are. And in the first half against Baltimore, they were proving me right. They were in the game. They sacked Lamar Jackson 4 times and caused 2 turnovers. Ultimately, their demise was lack of experience. I mean, that's going to happen when you have a rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, from Ohio State. Yeah, I think I just reconsider. I'm not rooting for the Texans this year. But there was some really weird play calling going on when the Texans were in the red zone. But they lost. I know they lost. They lost to the Ravens. But I'm telling you right now, the Texans are going to win some games this year. And you're going to think of me when they do. Number 26. The New Jersey Giants. Wow. The Giants' opening possession of the game on Sunday night against the Cowboys actually looked really good. Like, really good. They ran the ball right down to the 8-yard line, threatening to go in the end zone. But then, false start on the offense. Then, a botched snap that Daniel Jones couldn't handle. And then, a blocked field goal returned for a touchdown. Daniel Jones was intercepted twice and sacked 7 times. The Giants were absolutely bulldozed by the Dallas Cowboys. More specifically, that Dallas Cowboys defense. At one point, they showed Brian Daboll, head coach of the Giants, reigning coach of the year, on the sidelines, wet, looking lost, like a puppy dog. I almost felt bad, and I could have sworn I saw him picking up his cell phone, asking Sean McDermott if he can come back. A playoff team from last year, this New Jersey Giants team looked like they were a team who was tanking for Caleb Williams, which might not be that bad of an idea. Number 25, Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a bad team, a bad football team, and we all know this, right? And without Jonathan Taylor, there's not a lot of playmakers on that offense. I suppose that's where rookie quarterback Anthony Richards should come in. There was actually a handful of times in this game where he looked just like that, like an explosive, exciting playmaker. But then there was other times where he just looked like a rookie, like a lost rookie. Defensively, the Colts looked good against a good Jaguars offense. I'm really curious to see what happens when Jonathan Taylor becomes available and what they do with him. But until then, the Colts are going to be living at the bottom of my rankings, man. Number 24, Chicago Bears. This was the season where Justin Fields was supposed to take that next step, right? Take over that NFC North. The front office even went out and got him a number 1 wide receiver. All that being said, the fans in Soldier Field were booing Justin Fields in the third quarter. Booing him. I guess fumbling the ball after being sacked, I guess tends to do that, but this guy was supposed to be the answer this year. This is the guy this year. Look, all game long, it was the same predictable shit, right? Screen passes and Justin Fields taking off. Shocker that predictable plan was sniffed out by the Packers and ultimately shut down. I was expecting more from the Bears. I really was. This is not a great start for them. Number 23, Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks were a fluke last season. There, I said it, and I've been saying it for some time now. Even before this loss to the Rams, I had them ranked 20th in my preseason rankings. Extending Geno Smith was a mistake, and I feel that in a few weeks, a lot of you are going to agree with me. The Seahawks, on opening day, at home, got outplayed by the Rams. The Rams. I can't even pronounce the man's name, who was the leading receiver for the Rams. The Rams shut the Seahawks out in the second half. But you know what? I feel obligated to say at least something positive. So, DK Metcalf, he scored a touchdown. Number 22, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady. What? It's Baker time, bitch! Look, it was not the prettiest outing overall for the Bucs offense. I mean, they only had 29 yards on their first 6 drives. But you know what? Baker rallied his team, threw everybody on his back like a backpack, finished the game with 3 scores on the last 4 drives. It was a tale of 2 halves, right? In the first half, Mayfield was 4 of 11, but was 17 of 23 in the second half. And he had 2 scores. He managed the game well. He got rid of the ball when he was being pressured. Forget about how it looked. The Bucs beat the Vikings. The Vikings are supposed to be a good team in Minnesota. That's a healthy win for the Bucs. Number 21. Los Angeles Rams. No Cooper Kupp? Forget about it, huh? Puka, N-A-C-U-A. How do you pronounce that? Because I don't know. That man came to the rescue. You don't know who he is? Well, you will, because he's going to be the most added wide receiver in fantasy in the next week. Also, it's amazing. Matthew Stafford is healthy, and he looked good. This man carved up the Seahawks defense, was not sacked once, and did not throw an interception. I don't think anybody expected the Rams to win this game, but you know what? Any given Sunday. Number 20, Washington Commanders. Sam Howell was sacked 6 times, lost a fumble, threw an interception. And despite all that, he came running out onto the field with all sorts of confidence and shook that shit off. Listen, in the fourth quarter, Washington was down to the Arizona Cardinals. Let that sink in for a second. But Sam Howell took the ball, ran into the end zone, 6-yard little touchdown run, and basically sealed the game for the Commanders. No upset for you, Arizona Cardinals. Defensively, Washington looked pretty dominant, especially in the second half. And you got to figure that Washington's defense is only going to get better once they get, like, Chase Young back into the rotation. Number 19, Minnesota Vikings. Last season, the Vikings had 13 wins. 11 of those wins were one-score games. They had like a magic to them where they were winning these close games, these one-score games, and yeah, it was like a thing. Not so much week 1 of the 2023 season. The Vikings opened the season at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a very low expectation Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Vikings lost a one-score game. Now, statistically, yardage-wise, Kirk Cousins looked like he had a decent game, but all 3 of his turnovers were extraordinarily costly. Of course, Justin Jefferson had a Jetta-type game, but it was the Vikings' defense. You lost to the Bucs, bro. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. Number 18, New England Patriots. So the Patriots started their season in disastrous fashion. A pick six, an Ezekiel Elliott fumble on the next drive. After the first 5 drives, the Patriots had like less than 50 yards. But late in the first half, something clicked, and Mac Jones started to throw the ball. The Patriots came back and made a game out of this that many people didn't think it was going to be close, especially after a 16-0 deficit really early on. Some downfalls, the Patriots, everybody was high on Ramondre Stevenson this year, and he was nowhere to be found. The Patriots' run game as a whole was nowhere to be found. So that left Mac Jones. It left it all up to this dude to throw the ball. Ultimately, they came up short, lost to the Eagles. But I can tell you, man, they looked a lot better this past week, than they did all of last year. Number 17, Las Vegas Raiders. So I feel like last year in my videos, I tend to count the amount of penalties that the Raiders had in their games, because that was a big detrimental, just huge, awful part of their game. Nothing has changed as they committed 10 penalties this week. 6 of those penalties gave Denver a new set of downs. 2 of those 6 were on 4th down. Come on, bro. Raiders' new quarterback, Jimmy G, he created a nice little chemistry with his receivers, Devontae Adams, number 2, Jacoby Myers. Between those 2 receivers, they had 19 targets. The rest of the players on offense had 7. Now, he did form chemistry, but he didn't play a good game. Like the defense, he had some costly mistakes. He fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line. He threw an interception in the end zone. How the Raiders lucked out and won this game is an absolute mystery to me. I chalk it up to being the Broncos just being that bad. Number 16, Green Bay Packers. Lots of people out there thinking that the Packers are going to be one of the worst teams in football this year. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Jordan Love can't possibly be the man. I'm one of those people, I'll be honest. And despite the Packers coming out and just slapping the booty cheeks right off the Chicago Bears, I still feel that way. Jordan Love looked good. Don't get me wrong. Give credit where credit is due. But it's the Bears. Beating the Bears is what the Packers do. I think Nate Peterman could come out and beat the Bears as a Packer. I guess we just got to wait to see how the season rolls on. Number 15, Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons, a 100% complete running team who drafted a running back with the 8th overall pick in Bijan Robinson, won their week 1 matchup against the Panthers with, wait for it, the run game. Weird. And I'll tell you what, it's a good thing too, because their passing game is... Desmond Ridder is not the answer in Atlanta. I guess they got to roll with him because what other options did they have? But it's going to be interesting for the Falcons because they're going to win 7 games this year or something. So it's not even like they're going to get a top tier draft pick. They're going to have to trade up to get somebody serviceable behind center. Drake London had a great season last year, right? So you think he's going to have a better year this year. Week 1 comes along and he has 1 target and 0 catches, putting up a fat goose egg. In fantasy football, that doesn't upset me at all. Running the ball is going to be how the Falcons win or lose the games this year. Everybody knows that. Defensively, their big offseason sign, Jesse Bates III. He came up huge. He had 2 interceptions that led to 10 points and a forced fumble that led to another score. Add in his 10 tackles, and I'm going to go ahead and say that he was probably the MVP of the Falcons Sunday. Number 14, Buffalo Bills. Yo, Josh Allen sucked, bro. 3 interceptions, lost a fumble in a tie game late in the fourth quarter. All the haters out there have been calling him Phillip Rivers 2.0, and I've been defending him like you're absolutely out of your mind. Those motherfuckers were rejoicing last night. It blows me away how many Buffalo Bills haters are out there. It absolutely blows me away how many Buffalo Bills haters there are out there. And I never would have thought I'd seen the day seeing that they sucked and they were just the stepchildren of the NFL for like 2 decades. Bills defense, oh man, still can't stop the run. Still can't do it. And in the offseason, everybody was talking about how the Bills are going to be the 3rd best team in the AFC East. The Dolphins and Jets have bypassed them, and I refused to believe it. I refused. I'm not so sure anymore. Number 13, Jacksonville Jaguars. I literally feel like the only NFL fan who is not swinging from the nutsack of Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some experts, during the pregame on week 1, were making their picks for the Super Bowl, and some of them were taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. What? Now, they did get a win over the Colts, for sure. But it wasn't easy, and the Colts are not good. Now, Calvin Ridley, he's the truth. No doubt about that. But Trevor Lawrence, man, he looked okay. Defensively, the Jaguars allowed a rookie quarterback with minimal playmakers to move the ball up and down the field. And it wasn't only until late in the fourth quarter that the Jaguars actually pulled away. But this game was close. And, I mean, the Colts were winning in the second half. I don't know, man. The eye test tells me that the Jaguars are probably going to win the division, but they're like a first-round exit. Number 12, Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow threw for 82 yards. 82. Yeah, that's 246 feet. 14 of 31 passing. The Bengals offense as a whole collected 142 yards of offense against the Browns. Yes, it was raining outside. It was not ideal conditions. I get it. But the Browns scored 24 points. So you know what? That excuse does not fly with me. 3 points for the Bengals on the day. 3. Lucky for them, it was just week 1. They have 16 games left. And I'm positive they'll turn this thing around. Number 11, Los Angeles Chargers. Yo, the Chargers played really well in a shootout against the Dolphins on Sunday. Austin Eckler is still a beast, running the ball, catching the ball. Which is why I found it very strange that they kept the ball out of his hands late in the game. They could have went up by a touchdown. They were like inside the 5-yard line. They could have went up by a touchdown to pretty much seal the game. Nah, I mean, they wanted nothing to do with running the ball with him. And instead, the Chargers had to kick a field goal, only putting them up by 4 and allowing the Dolphins to march right down the field. Like, come on. Like, who's your head coach? Brandon Staley or something? I mean, shit. Listen, the AFC is tough. And losses like this, man, they sting because that would have been a really nice win over a really good team. Number 10, New Orleans Saints. Listen, Derek Carr, he did what he needed to do to get a win on Sunday over the Titans. But here's the thing. Derek Carr has always done what he needed to do to get a win. Always. In Oakland, in Vegas, now in New Orleans. It was always the defense that on the teams that he played for that sucked and lost games. But yet, because he's the quarterback, he always caught the blame. In New Orleans, he has a defense now. Watch out. What he doesn't have is an offensive line, and this man might just get killed this year. Derek Carr was pressured on more than half of his snaps on Sunday. That is a lot. But he sure does have some new, shiny, brand new toys. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. Shit, even Michael Thomas is back playing well. I really think that the Saints are going to shock some people this year. And although it was only a 1-point win over a shitty Titans team, man, I think this team is going to continue to gel. Watch out for the Saints. Number 9, Baltimore Ravens. So Lamar Jackson, he fumbled the ball twice and threw an interception, all in the first half against the Texans. To say the man looked rusty would be justified. However, the second half was much better. They're all still adjusting to this new system that the new offensive coordinator has brought in. Between that and all-world tight end Mark Andrews being out, Lamar Jackson looked to rookie Zay Flowers to be his number 1 receiver, his favorite target of the day. And Flowers had an impressive debut. He had 9 catches. Not bad. Oh yeah, Odell Beckham Jr., he's over there. Remember all the hype around him. Where is he going to land? Who's going to sign with? And then he goes to the Ravens. The hell did he do? Non-factor. So the story of this game was not Lamar, was not OBJ, it was not the expected win over the Texans. It was that J.K. Dobbins is out for the year. Tore his Achilles to shit. That sucks, man. Number 8, Cleveland Browns. Jim Schwartz. Yeah, he's the new DC. He's the new defensive coordinator in Cleveland. It seems like every time he gets a new job and goes to a new team, he makes an impact almost immediately. He makes every defensive unit that much better. That Browns defense forced the high-powered Cincinnati Bengals offense to just do shit. Scored only 3 points. They went 3 and out 7 times. That's a lot. The Bengals had to punt the ball 10 times because of this Browns defense. 10 times. That's a lot. And they held Joe Burrow to 82 yards passing. Deshaun Watson, he still looks rusty. He does. He's still skipping passes. Every time I looked at the screen, the ball was bouncing to Amari Cooper or bouncing to a receiver. He's not even like a shell of what he was in Houston. But he still played decent enough to win this game. He still played better than Joe Burrow, who just got paid $85 million trillion. This was a very nice win for the Browns and an excellent start to the season. Number 7, Philadelphia Eagles. John, you're such an idiot. You have the Eagles at number 7. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I do. Listen, I know. Before some of the fans even had a chance to put their ass in a seat, the Eagles were already up 16-0. It was impressive, 100%. At that point, I thought for sure the Eagles were going to win this game 50-7. But their offense looked really rusty. Did not look anything like they did last year. That offense had to settle for 4 field goals. And their only offensive touchdown came on a very short field after Zeke fumbled the ball for the Patriots and gave the Eagles a very short field. That was the only offensive touchdown they had. Jalen Hurts had only one pass play over 15 yards. That's not good. Man, listen, after what the Cowboys did on Sunday night, the Eagles need to hurry up, wake up, and kick that rust off because you got some work to do, bros. Number 6, Kansas City Chiefs. Kickoff game, Thursday night football. Super Bowl champions hosting the Detroit Lions. Chiefs came into this game shorthanded. Travis Kelce not playing. Chris Jones still holding out. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he's the reigning MVP. And for good. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he's the reigning MVP for a reason, right? Early on in the game, he was spreading the ball around to his committee of wide receivers. It was looking all right. But eventually, one of these receivers had to have a breakout game, right? You had to have a big catch. You had to get like a chunk yard play or something, right? Eventually, it's going to happen. It has to happen. Come on. It's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Come on. Well, I mean, Kadarius Toney had a big play. He batted a pass right out of the air. Almost volleyball tossed it to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's a pick 6. Sky Moore did not have a single catch. A lot of people had him as wide receiver 1. Not a single catch. Oh, rough loss for the Chiefs, man, but I still got them up there. They're still one of the best teams in football. Come on, let's call a spade here. Number 5, New Jersey Jets. Come here. Defense. God damn, the Jets defense is good. That Jets defense made Josh Allen look like anything but Josh Allen. They were in Josh Allen's face and ass all night long. 3 interceptions by one guy. Hey, did you know, fun fact here, Whitehead had 3 interceptions on Monday Night Football against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. He has written into his contract that if he has 3 interceptions on the season, he earns a bonus of $250,000, $250,000 if he gets 3 interceptions on the season. He got that contract. He got that. He got his bonus in one fucking game. I wonder how much. Is he going to give Josh Allen something? A little something? A little hand job or something? He's got to give him something. All right, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I can talk about the Jets defense forever, but Aaron Rodgers, the hype of him coming to New Jersey to play for the Jets, gets into the game. First game of the year, plays 4 snaps, and just tears his Achilles and is done for the year. I like Aaron Rodgers. I don't like the Jets. I like Aaron Rodgers. I can't root for Aaron Rodgers because he plays for the Jets, but I like Aaron Rodgers, and I was not happy about this. I was happy to see Zach Wilson come into the game, and for a while I was like, hell yeah, the Bills were up, and it was like I'm sitting there already on to week 2 thinking, yeah, let's. But you know what? As bad as he looks, when it mattered most, he found Zach Wilson, that is. He found Garrett Wilson in the end zone and tied the game. And then in overtime, there was a punt return by a rookie. Ran into the end zone, crushing my evening. Listen, I know I'm sitting here talking about the Jets as a Bills fan, kind of making it about the Bills. I don't want to do that. To the Jet fans that are watching this, so much respect goes out to the Jets. Amazing game. You lose Aaron Rodgers and you bring in Zach Wilson, who was a joke of the NFL last year, and you still pull out that comeback victory. That's amazing. And I wish I didn't have the hatred for the Jets that I did, because I would be more hyped about it. But honestly, kudos. I want to clap my hands. I just can't do it. Number 4, Detroit Lions. I like Mike Tirico. I really do. There's so many commentators and announcers in all sports that just are just so terrible. So terrible. But Mike Tirico was actually one of the good ones. I really like him. However, I disagree with him. He said at the end of the game that this Lions victory over the Chiefs should have an asterisk because Travis Kelce and Chris Jones did not play. You know what you can do with that, Mike Tirico? You know what you can do with that? You can shove that somewhere, because the Lions won that fucking game. I don't even care. If Travis Kelce was in that game, it might have been a different outcome, but it's not like they would have blown him out. The Lions played well. The Lions deserve that win. Take that asterisk and shove it up. Dan Campbell showing balls of steel. Big, fat, hairy sack nut balls. Faking a punt on your own 17-yard line early in the game. Come on, bro. Who does that? Had they not converted that, or if they would have punted that ball away, this was a different game. It would have ended up being a different game. That play right there set the tone for this game and put the Lions on the map. Speaking of putting things on the map, that Lions defense is here. Aiden Hutchinson is my second favorite player to ever play at Michigan. Go Blue. And he seemed to be in the backfield the entire fucking game, didn't he? How about that addition of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, huh? There was a lot of hype surrounding the Lions this year. Lots of hype. A lot of people taking them to win the NFC North. After this winning in Kansas City, in Arrowhead, man, it seems justified. Number 3, Miami Dolphins. God damn it, the Dolphins are good. Well, I mean, at least their offense is good. You know what? I take that back. Their offense is stellar. Their offense is amazing. All offseason long, on paper, people were jerking off the Dolphins' defense. It's going to be the greatest defense ever. You gave up 34 points in a shootout. Xavier Howard. People have him in like the top 5 of the best secondary players in football. My dude had back-to-back plays that were pass interference, and then shortly after got like called for like illegal contact. He wasn't good on Sunday. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due, though, right? On that final drive, the Chargers were trying to drive to win the game or kick a field goal to take a 1-point lead, and the Dolphins' defense kind of shattered their dreams and absolutely just murdered Justin Herbert. So you give him credit. Tua threw for almost 500 yards. Tyreek Hill caught over 200 yards. And because of that, they didn't need their run game. I don't want to say this, but like the Dolphins, they might be real. They might be it. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. Coming off of elbow surgery, Brock Purdy came out looking fantastic. He led the Niners to 4 consecutive scoring drives to open the game. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey. It's unstoppable. It's unstoppable. And the crazy thing is the Niners are known for their defense. It's their defense that makes them good. Man, they sacked Kenny Pickett 5 times, collected 2 interceptions, held the Steelers to 41 rushing yards. This Niners team is probably the most complete team in the NFL. It's absolutely insane. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys. Real quick story. I'm in a fantasy league, right, where you can protect up to 3 players, okay? My team from last year was shit, okay? So I protected 1 player, and then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I drafted the Dallas Cowboys defense in the 15th round last year. Let me protect them and get them in the 14th round of this. Well, I'll tell you, when the draft started, there were people looking at the board. Did somebody protect a defense? Ha ha ha! People were clowning on me because I protected a defense. Those same people drafted a lesser defense 2 rounds ahead of that in the 12th round, but that's neither here nor there. It's none of my business. It was down by 46. Cowboys defense got me over 44 points. Yes, Matthew, I'll take that pat on the back now. I can spend 40 minutes talking about this game, the way they dismantled the Giants, but I'm not going to do that because you watch the game and you know. Every year when the Cowboys are 6-3, Cowboy fans start talking about going all the way this year. After Sunday night, you can't fucking argue with that.